Hi, welcome back to my channel. It's Michaela here. Today I'm cooking dinner, just for family dinner. But because I have some friends, they say to me, "Oh, Michaela, you can cook anyway, so you get the most out of the Thermomix." I was going to use a recipe today with the guided recipe and follow the step-by-step guide. So try as I might, I'm not going to interfere with the Thermomix wisdom and just do as it tells me, just to show you how simple it is really, and you don't need to be a chef to actually be able to get the most out of your Thermomix. It will help you grow in confidence in the kitchen because you can just follow the guided recipes. So today I am cooking chicken involtinis with sun-dried tomato pesto. So that's rolled up chicken effectively with sun-dried tomato pesto in a sauce. And I'm making the whole lot from scratch, and it is not complicated or difficult at all. So I've got this planner, I've got my planner up here. I'm just going to click on this. This is the recipe that I'm making today, and I'm going to start cooking and follow the instructions. So it's telling me to place a jug on the mixing bowl. So I'm just going to do that there. And then weigh in 70 grams of olive oil. So obviously, as some of you who's been following me for a while now, I just say it's just fantastic that the Thermomix has its own scales. Oops, gone slightly over. By the way, there's Paddy just going behind me, my happy dog. Has inbuilt scales, so I just do everything with that machine. I'm not scrubbing around for other machines. And then it says set jug aside until required. So there we go. Next step is saying, right, add 40 grams of Parmesan cheese already cut into little pieces. So I've just done this a little bit earlier on. Tear it because I took the lid off there. So these are your scales here. Put 40 grams. There we go, 42. This Thermomix never tells me off. And 1 clove of garlic, pop that in. And it says insert the measuring cup. So this is the measuring cup that comes in the lid, bit of juggling there. Put that in. Next, and then I'm going to turn this selector. So this is the dial that turns it on and off. Up to 9, so it's going to be quite loud for 10 seconds, and what that's going to do, it's going to grind the parmesan, or grate the parmesan and garlic all together, so you've got garlic infused parmesan. So I'm going to just turn that up to 9, and I'm just going to next step, right. So now it's telling me to scrape down the sides of the mixing bowl. So all that's doing is just making sure that all the ingredients that would have been spun to the side. So look, there we go, look, grated that parmesan and garlic. Oh, it smells very stinky and garlicky. Now it's asking me to have 160 grams of pine nuts. There we go. So again, just weighing straight in. I'm still on the same mixing bowl, not flouncing around for other bits and pieces. I don't have to even bother about crushing the nuts or freezing them. There we go. Next, right, it says add 100 grams of sun-dried tomatoes. So here's my sun-dried tomato. Just going to throw them in. I'm just wondering if I've got enough there actually. Oops. There we go. So I have 60 grams there, but if I just have a look, see if I've got any more in my cupboard. I didn't realise so much for me following the step-by-step guide. What's that just over there? No, that is definitely the one. Okay, well, do you know what? We're going to go with it. We're going to go with the 60 grams. I'm not going to bother so much about it. Sun-dried tomatoes are very tasty anyway. So, and then it's going to tell me to insert my lid and insert the measuring cup on next. And now I'm going to telling me to turn to speed 5, and for 30 seconds it is going to chop all that. There we go. So let me have a look. telling me to have a look and scrape down the sides. And it's just asked me to make sure that, so some of those, I don't know, hasn't quite, so I've still got the larger sun-dried tomatoes in there. So what I'm going to do, and this is the great thing about Thermomix, right? You are not a slave to the machine. The machine is your assistant, and you can go backwards and forwards in the instructions until you're really, really comfortable. So I'm just going to go back there and turn that back to 5 and just give it another whiz to cut up all those bits and pieces. So let me have a look in there. So that's a safety feature though, it actually seals that in there. Yeah, I think that's, do you know what, because I know I've got fussy eaters in my house, I'm going to do that one more time. I'm going to go back, I'm going to just whiz up one more time, 3 seconds, but not just massive baby bits. Here we go, let's have a look at this. There we go. So there is basically the base of your sun-dried tomato. Very nutty. Right, so now we're going to insert that. So it says turn the speed selector to 4 and meanwhile follow the next step. So I'm going to turn that to 4. And now it's going to slowly pour in the olive oil. And that's what we're doing. So now we're going to make the perfect timing, Dainter. So I've done that. So I've done that bit. Let me have a look in there. Ooh. So let me just show you. So this is still. Here we go. Look. So I've got a very chunky style sun-dried tomato pesto. So what it's telling me to do is to transfer that to a sealable container to make it, to use it for again. So what I am going to do, I say just because I know I've got those picky eaters in my house, I am going to give it just one more blitz. So look, I'm just going to press back, right? And it's not a problem by pressing back. I'm just going to turn that back up to 5. Consistency, and then I'm just going to go back to where I was, which was transferring to a sealable container. So basically what you've got there now is some lovely homemade sun-dried tomato pesto. I'm not going to use it all up in this recipe, so what I will do is I'll have some left over, and if I ever I want to use it again in a recipe, I have now got some sun-dried tomato pesto already. So this has been one of the great things about the Thermomix is for us as a family, I have been on the quest to remove as much as feasibly possible processed foods out of our diets. And mainly I've been on the driver of doing this because I've really been on the quest to try and rebalance our, it's called your omega-6 to 3 ratios, because we eat way too much processed foods that contains far too much omega-6, and it just isn't healthy for us. So it knocks that balance out. And people get quite ill when the balance is not correct. So this has been my quest for the last year. So there we go, look. There's my homemade, very nutty sun-dried tomato pesto. So what's the next instruction? So it's telling me to clean the bowl. So I'll just give that a quick whiz under my tap. The Thermomix 6 does come with a cleaning program, so at the end of cooking, what you can do is you can just set it onto the pre-cleaning program, and it will clean itself effectively. But obviously, because we're in the middle of a cooking, I just give it a quick whiz and just get rid of all that. There we go. Give it a quick clean. This is, I have to say, I haven't done it myself, but in my old Thermomix, which is a Thermomix 5, I have 2 mixing bowls. So for this exact reason, I can literally just put the other one in the sink while I then crack on with carrying on in the recipe. But, you know, for mere mortals who don't have multiple bowls, it's just a quick rinse. And that's a really great thing about the stainless steel bowl. It's really easy. Just give it a quick blast with the tap and it cleans up. So I've done that. Right, now it's going to... Now I know I said I wasn't going to mix up, you know, or adapt the menu, but it's just telling me now to put some mozzarella in. And that's basically to grate the mozzarella. But I've already got grated mozzarella, so I can actually skip this step. So again, don't need to do it. Feel really comfortable about it. Skip the steps. My little sous chef won't shout at me. So you just go over and set this out. Right, so now we're going to crack on with the sauce. It's saying 2 cloves of garlic. Just put this in my bin here so it's out of my way. So I am trying to follow this step by step as much. 2 garlic, there we go. 2 sprigs of flat fresh parsley leaves. I've only got the curly variety, so I'm just going to put those in. Not too much, because again, my family are not a big parsley fans. Very strange what they get picky about, isn't it? Next, insert the measuring cup into the lid. Next, and it's going to turn to 7 for 3 seconds. So it's going to chop the garlic and the parsley together. It's going to be noisy, so I'm just going to come out a little bit just to show you that. There we go. Next, right, again, it's asking me to break down the sides. I've got spatula in my spatula, even though I've got loads of it. Here we go. So who actually hates chopping garlic? This is, look, it's just chopped it all up, because there's so little in there. But, oh, no garlic fingers. No garlic fingers, no onion fingers, no chilli fingers. Brilliant, it does all the chopping for you. So it's telling me to add 2 eggs. By the way, I have never cooked this recipe before. So you see me here now is the first time. I had a look at what ingredients there was, but to be honest, I actually didn't flick through and think, can I do this while I'm videoing for the first time? Get me. I should have done. I might look a bit more professional. A pinch of salt just to taste. We don't use too much salt. Black pepper. Wait 1 second. If you hear any giggling in the background, my son's gaming. Right, and then add 70 grams of breadcrumbs. So, one thing I did do is I make obviously my own breadcrumbs. So that's 2 slices of bread in there. Just put it in here on 9 for 3 seconds. Got breadcrumbs. Don't need to buy breadcrumbs anymore. So put those in there. There we go. 72, slightly over. Right, and it wants me to add 4 tablespoons of the reserved pesto. There we go. So 1, 2, 3. So sun-dried tomatoes, just if you're cooking this for a family meal, they are a little bit more tastier than got a stronger taste than the regular tomatoes, so if you're cooking with children, just be mindful of that. Next, right, insert the measuring cup and the lid, put that on. Next, I'm pressing next again. Right, and it's telling me to turn the selector to the speed selector to 5, and then it's going to mix for 30 seconds. So let's kind of blend all that together and then it goes for yeah, I don't have to get involved in that. It's not to stir. It's clean, you guys. I'm probably thinking go back to the cooking. But yeah, so you always know that your Thermomix is an investment, but what you get back from it with ease of cooking and support, instructions, is amazing. So next, right, so what it's telling me now, and I have done this bit a little bit earlier, is it's saying using a rolling pin, pound 15 chicken tenderloins to tenderize and flatten them. So I didn't have tenderloins. What I did have is I just got a whole load of chicken, or I had a few chicken breasts, and I sliced them and then beat them out. So look, so I've got this flat meat here, and so I have already done that bit of the recipe. I'll just lay these out here. Right, so I've done that. What's it going to say? And then what it wants me to do is to distribute the breadcrumb mixture evenly. It says distribute breadcrumb mixture evenly over the tenderloin, then top each tenderloin with a spinach leaf. Got that here, and a sprinkling of mozzarella, which I've already got here. It says already grated. Just put this over here. Sprinkle of mozzarella. Right, so I think I can do this. Let me get this out. Let me show you the mix. Oh yeah, so that's quite a paste now. Look, that's definitely. So that is what's going to be rolled up inside the chicken. So that's there's breadcrumbs, eggs, and the sun-dried pesto sauce that you saw us make. So I've got a little one here. So let me. I don't know if you can. It's going to help if I can just. So now you can see what I'm doing. Right, probably. Let me see if I can swap this around. Get that back there. Right, here we go. There we go. So all I'm doing now then is I'm going to put this on here. So it says evenly. I probably haven't got the best. This is probably, instead of doing as I do, doing your own thing, is probably better when you do as the instructions say. Just let me lay all this out. I think some people are going to get some nice rolls and others may get some dodgy rolls. There we go. There we go. So how many have I got there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10. That's enough. That's nearly 15. So I'm just put this on here. So this recipe, I know there's fiddling about what I'm doing here, but would I have cooked this prior to owning a Thermomix? If I look this up in a recipe book, most definitely not. I'm just going to lift that up again a little bit more so you can see me. No, I probably wouldn't, because I would have thought it would have been too much faff, to be honest. My cooking style is at least amount of hands-on that I have to do, the better. But since owning the Thermomix, because even these recipes that have got multiple steps in them actually are so easy, I've really improved my own repertoire in my cooking base. And whilst I do have picky eaters in the house, more often than not, unless I make an absolute terrible mistake with something, I'm trying to think what I have done. Oh, I made a venison casserole once, that was a bit of a failure. But again, it's because rather than following the step-by-step guide, what I did do is I tried to do my own thing. But yeah, on the whole, the family always says in the end, do you know what, would never have thought about that, but it's quite tasty. And that kind of makes it worth it, you know. So if I had to chopped all that up and beaten it and stirred it and done everything else with it before the Thermomix, I absolutely would not have even bothered with that recipe. So there we go, I've distributed that evenly over my chickens. Looks a right old mess. I've got some lovely bits of chicken there. I know who's going to love that. Name begins with P and ends in Daddy. Paddy. Not Daddy. Paddy. Yes, Paddy. I said you. So then what we're going to do is we will put on our... I'll show you this when I've done it. Put on our bit of spinach. So far, this is, say it's got a bit of nuts, very few breadcrumbs. So this is quite a low carb meal. It makes Mr. Dainter very happy because we try and do as much low carb as possible. And just let me get some more spinach out of the fridge over here. And that's really easy for me to work out what we're eating because again, all the recipes for on the Thermomix actually comes with a nutritional guide, which I will show you shortly. So let me see if I can put you back down again. There we go. Can you see what I'm doing here? Creating. There we go. Let's put the spinach in here. Yeah, so all the recipes come with their nutrition guide, so you can see how much protein, carbohydrates, calories are in each. And if you follow the step-by-step guide, you won't overcook. It tells you how many people it will make for, so you can actually even do the right portion control. Right, have we done that? And then sprinkle some of the reserve mozzarella. So here we go, look, just sprinkle some of this on. Do you know what, I've got to be careful not to overload these because I know I've got to roll these up shortly. And they're going to be a right old nightmare, aren't they? There we go. There we go, lovely. So, I've done that guide. So what? Let me just go back to the machine and what it's saying now. Press next. Roll tenderloins up to enclose the filling and then secure each one. Right, so let's just roll these up. There we go. There's one. There's another one. Two. Another one. Oh, this is, I've battered the life out of this one, look. So 3. I mean, if you went to an Italian restaurant, you could expect to see this on the menu. So here you are at home doing really great restaurant quality. I ought to think about my sizing issues, you know. So that'll be bear cubs. That's daddy bears. But yeah, here you have total accessibility to being able to make restaurant quality food and dishes with the step-by-step guides and making it at home. And you know what? The great thing about restaurant food is they do season really well. They are made by professional chefs. But sometimes you just don't want to have the sugar and salt content that you have to that the chefs cook with. So you can make that here. So as I say, that here now, look, there's my rolls, chicken rolls. That's my Involtinis. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. Don't want any feedback from any of my Italian friends, please. So it's next. It says right. So next thing I have to do is clean and dry the bowl. So because I didn't quite use all the mixture, I'm just going to take that out. So I feel sure I could most definitely use that again. There we go, just clean the bowl out. Just going to give it a quick wash. There we go. See, this bit you can hear but you can't see. But again, as I was saying, the stainless steel bowls make it really, really, really smooth. Give it a quick dry out. Oh, and that's alright. Just got some off-camera action going on there. Right, so next step. Arrange the chicken voltinis in a simmering basket and the Verona dish. So this is a step for a little bit later. So what you do get with the Thermomix, as well as the machine and this mixing bowl, you get quite a few other accessories that comes as part of the package. So one is this lovely massive thing which sits on top. It's called a Verona dish and it's the steaming part. And another part is this simmering basket which just sit inside. So it's saying arrange some of the chicken in here and in the Verona dish. Now I'm going to put the bigger pieces in the bottom. I'm going to leave it. This is quite a chunky piece, and then also in here in the Verona dish itself, put that in here and there. So I'll show you this in a minute. So that will cook. When I get going, it will also cook. So there we go, in the Verona dish. Right. What I'm going to do, I am going slightly off. You get a tray that sits on top of the Verona dish. And because I know I'm going to serve broccoli with this dish, I'm going to put that broccoli on top. Now, so what I'll end up doing shortly is being able to steam my chicken and my broccoli all in one go. So there we go, no more pans, no more extra pans. Just put that up there for later. Get rid of my meat tray. Bring back my wooden tray. There we go. So, next step. So I've done that. Next step, I'm going to, it says, right, put my thing back on, which I forgot to do. It's saying to me now put 1 clove of garlic. So here we go. So now what I'm doing is we're actually making the sauce that will go with the chicken and the vegetables. That was a very tiny clove of garlic, so I am just going to put in 1 more. Right. Right, and then it says half a brown of onion. So, as you can see, I told you I didn't fully prepare this menu. I am trying to wing it, so they say. So here we go. So the only chopping, as I say, we don't really chop, but I'm just skinning that onion. So I say I don't have to, I'm not going to cry, definitely not on camera anyway. There we go. Why could it have to be so difficult? Because I'm doing it in front of the camera. There we go. Right. So it says half a brown onion. So all I'm going to do is just chop that in half. And it's about 7 grams, that's okay. Insert the mixing bowl, herb lid, press next again. And right, I'm going to move away because it said 7. It's going to chop all that onion and garlic together. It's chop that up. Next, press the next one. Scrape down the sides with a spatula. So look at that. I'm not going to put my nose too far in because obviously I will be crying, but look, there we go. It's chopped up those onions. Put it next. Right, 50 grams of olive oil. So again, I'm just, look, my scales are on and I'm just going to weigh that in. There we go. 35, 45. And it goes up in 1 gram. And if you're cooking it in Imperial, if the recipe says ounces, it'll swap the measurement conversion for you. So you don't even have to worry about that. No more having to Google ounces to grams, vice versa. Next, put the lid on. Next. Right, so what that's asking me to do now is I'm going to turn it on. It's going to speed 1. It's for 3 minutes at a Verona temperature, which is bloody hot, right? Let's put it that way. And it's going to get to that temperature. It's going to stay consistent, and I'm not going to burn the onions. You know how sometimes in your pan, when you're frying them in the on the frying pan, what you do find is you end up sometimes with burnt bits, but not with the Thermomix. What will happen is it will get to temperature and it will keep the constant temperature. So you don't have to worry about having to stand there and stir it. I can talk to you lovely people instead. So yeah, as I was saying, you come with a full kit. So you get a machine, you get this mixing bowl, your measuring cup. So this on top of here is a measuring cup. You will get a Verona, which you will see later sits on the back of there, which is a steaming basket. You'll get a simmering basket, and you also get a spatula. And this is great because when that goes inside, when it's really hot temperatures, this has been designed, look, you just put this on here, hook it on the side, like so, and take it out, but it's also like a colander too. So that is a fantastic bit of kit. Great German engineering. By the way, other countries do great engineering too. Just being PC there. I'm joking. Can't beat a bit of German engineering, can we? Get into the fight about which car's the best. The only problem is my son will start shouting at me in the background. So yeah, so look, we're down to 1 minute and 10 seconds now. So it's cooking away, it's sautéing the garlic and the onions. It's going to keep that consistent temperature. You won't end up with burnt onions or undercooked. It will be absolutely perfect. And so where are we? Just to recap then, so far I've made some homemade sun-dried tomato pesto. We've beaten up some chicken to get them nice and flat. I did chicken breast, but you can just use those tiny little, I think tenderloins, and then flatten them. And we've stuffed the chicken with we made a mixture, which was some breadcrumbs, the pesto, some more onions and garlic. And we've literally stuffed the chicken with that mixture, the bread and the sun-dried tomato pesto mixture, mozzarella and spinach, rolled them all up. And now what we're doing is we're making the base to a sauce that will be served with the chicken. And at this point, I didn't even read what the ingredients were for the sauce. So you will see me flying around my kitchen to pick up what ingredients I need for it. But I say, I like a surprise as much as the next person. That used to work when I was blonde. Now I'm all purple. Right, next. I'm going to press next. Right, it's asking me to add 650 to 700 grams of pesto. So thankfully I've got that to hand in my cupboard just here. Now I haven't for this recipe, but I have in the past just made my own pesto sauce, passata sauce, not pesto. But so this is 650 to 700 grams of pesto. So I'm just going to take that up there. There we go. And do this one. This is a bit more than. But yeah, I've made my own passata, made my own tomato ketchup, my own tomato sauces as well. So, taking some tomatoes that were too gone over slightly, and I made chopped tomatoes. So here we go, I'm going to tear that and make that up too. So I know that's only 450. Let's do the next one. So I think that's about right. Yep, 700. Put this another in here. Next, I'm going to press next again, and it's saying to me, add 1 tablespoon of the reserved pesto sauce. Trying some tomato pesto sauce. There we go. Use the next. Right, so now it's telling me, so we're going to start with the main cooking again now. So here we go. It's asking me to insert the simmering basket, which has the chicken in it. And I'm going to press next. Don't preempt it, Dana. Put the lid on. I'm going to have to take the measuring cup off now. So I don't know if you can see that, but there's a hole that comes up there. And it's going to ask me to put on the remaining tray. Now I'm going to just move that to one side because I know broccoli doesn't take 25 minutes to place that on. It's all secure. It comes with a lid. Look, it's all lovely. It's all secure there. And press next. Right, so it's telling me now it's going to continue to get to Verona temperature for 20 minutes. And turn it to 2. So what it's also saying on here is saying steaming prolonged time by 5 minutes to ensure the chicken is cooked thoroughly. So as I was saying, you're not a slave to the machine. It is here to serve you, and it's so clear and easy with the instructions. All my family will tell you that I am absolutely rubbish at reading instructions. But this is quite a practical step-by-step guide, so it's really simple. What I will do, when that gets down to about 15, I'll just turn this off, place my broccoli inside and turn it back on. And then in about 20-25 minutes, I'm going to have a whole family meal cooked. And we've got a sauce, we've got the chicken, and we've got stuffed chicken, we'll have the broccoli, and voila, really easy. So what I'll do is I'll come back to you when we're towards the end of cooking time. Ciao for now. Hi, so we're back. Done my cooking. So what it's saying now is place sauce. Oh, sorry, go back one. So once cooked, set the Verona aside and remove the simmering basket. So as I said, this would be really hot because it got to such a vast temperature. I'll put that over there. So I'm going to use my lovely army thing, I call it. It's my spatula. Here we go, look. Get a hold of that. I'm doing it left-handed, which doesn't help. There you go. Can you see the sauce is on the bottom there? So there we have, look, some lovely chicken rolls. But I'm just going to put this over here for the time being. Just put that and move that there. So the next step, let me move that there. Hopefully that'll keep. So the next step, it says, place the sauce into a serving dish and then top with the chicken. So look, so there we've made some lovely tomato sauce. I'm just going to try that. Oh, it's gorgeous. It's absolutely fan-dabby-daisy. I mean, you will never buy a packet sauce or a jar sauce again when you can make these quality sauces. I mean, really restaurant quality sauces. And the great thing about the Thermomix is the consistency it makes of the sauces. I mean, it's just amazing. So what we've done is, and then it says to put the chicken on the top. So I will in a minute show you everything that I'm doing. So just, there we go. Let me just put this down so you can see what I make. So I've got some tongs here. So I'm going to take out each roll. There we go. Place it in this sauce. Okay, there we go. Look, it's chicken all rolled up, look. So it goes in there like that. So this has just been so easy peasy lemon squeezy to make. And I didn't have to think about it. I just literally had to follow each of the steps that was on the guided instruction. There we go. Oh, that was a dodgy roll. Look at that. I probably won't get full marks for my presentation. But there we go. So what we've got is we have got this lovely dish. I'm going to just get a spoon. Then this is. So I'm just going to then put this sauce over like that picture in there. Look. Now what I didn't do is I didn't use the toothpicks because yet again I just seemed a bit like finicky and I just couldn't be bothered really. And there we go. There we go. There we go, look. So what I've got now is this great chicken dish. That was a step-by-step guide. In the same time, look, I steamed some chicken, steamed some broccoli. So if I can bring that in for you, there you go. This is what we've cooked today. Here is the chicken dish, and at the same time I've steamed some broccoli. So that is dinner made. Probably taken about 40 minutes in total. And now I'm going to serve that up to the gang, see what they think. But as I said, to conclude, following the step-by-step guide, you most definitely don't need to be a chef. You can be a confident cook and increase your repertoire, or you can be really quite a novice cook and follow the step-by-step guides and recipes. And what I'll just quickly show you on here, it says recipe details. So this is what I said to you earlier, look. So I'm going to do is, it's telling me here, that was a difficult to medium grade dish to make apparently. Wasn't that difficult, wasn't it? My whole prep time was 25 minutes. Total rib cooking time was 50, and I've got 5 portions. Well, I've got 4 portions on there. There's all the recipe. And here's my nutritional value, look. So per portion, in that, you've got 643 calories. It's probably quite high. So, oh, that's breadcrumbs in there. Carbs, 22.4 grams. So we try and have carbs anything less than 30 grams in an entire meal. I think our carb allowance is about 50 grams a day. So this definitely hits all the buttons on that one. So thanks for tuning in. We're going to go off and enjoy this now for dinner. And yeah, if you want to know more about the Thermomix and my purple hair, get in touch with the Duchess of Oundle. Drop me a note on the bottom of this video, or if you're on Instagram or Facebook, drop me a private message and I can set up a chat, even set up some personal cooking demos for you where we can build your recipe. At the moment, while we've got this social distancing, I don't go into houses at the moment, so they're all by video, so I get to eat all the lovely food. But normally, in the normal times, I can come to your kitchen, you could actually use this, and I will cook with you. And yeah, you get to see how it works firsthand and wonder why you never had one much sooner. But anyway, stay safe, everyone. Eat well. If you can't eat well, get yourself Thermomix. Give me a buzz. Bye.